These are some incredibly versatile and easy to wear scents, and chances are you're probably completely overlooking them and you're not giving them the time of day at all. And these could be the type of scents that are easy to forget about, easy to just kind of glance over in a world where something is always getting hype, and it never really has been any of these. And so, you know, they might not necessarily stand out to you, but they are really good. They are worth picking up, and they're great to have around for times where you just want to have something that is easy to wear, that just smells good and does what a cologne is supposed to do, you know, just without having to overthink it. Because that is one thing that will happen as you continue to advance in this hobby and build up your collection. You start to put more thought and time and effort into what you wear for certain situations and certain times of the year and things like that. And sometimes it's nice to get back to the basics and just have something that smells good, just easy to wear, and it's as simple as that. Times were definitely a lot easier when you're first starting out because you're just buying things that smell good and just wearing them, you know, with very little thought. That all goes downhill pretty quick as you start to amass a collection. I think we've kind of all figured that out at this point. And so in today's video, we're simply covering that. Some super wearable scents that you probably actually aren't wearing and maybe you should be. So I'll link these down below to discounters for you if you want to check some of these out. You can buy them all below retail. That's always the way to go. I've got a mailing list and texting list you can sign up to as well. I'm always on the hunt for rare, discontinued, and hard to find fragrances, and so anytime something like that does come into stock, I send out an email and a text, along with, you know, anytime a big 48-hour sale might come up or something like that. You're always the first to know. Generally, those sales are accompanied with a lot of great restocks and great finds as well, so it's good to be on those lists so you can get in on that stuff before it inevitably sells out, usually pretty quickly. Like the new Latafa Camera, that one came up, I sent out an email, sold out, right? The Camera, the new Camera, everybody's going to be wanting it, and so things like that, you want to be the first to know so you can get yours before it's too late. Okay, let's get it kicked off with Ferragamo Uomo Casual Life. Violet leaf, musk, and coffee in here. Nice little combination of fresh, bright, and then some roasted coffee beans to tie everything together and to give it a little bit of a different twist. Super invigorating, super bright, refreshing, and crisp. Smells amazing off the opening. I have to give credit where credit is due. This one brings a lot more to the table than you might assume. And you're looking at around $30 to $40 for this. A little bit lower than the original Uomo and Uomo Signature. Those are a little bit more in demand. Casual Life and Urban Feel are fresher and they're not quite as popular, and so therefore they're a little bit lower in price. Between those two, Casual Life and Urban Feel, I'll probably take Casual Life. I really like this one. And this might not be something that is super exciting, you know, it's important to manage your expectations going into this. I'm not praising this as a super unique and mind-blowing affordable designer scent, you know. That's not what I'm saying here, but I think for the price, the versatility, the compliment factor, and even the quality is kind of unmatched. It's a good release. This next one here is not affordable, so we're jumping over to niche, but like I always say, I like to cover a bunch of different budgets and price ranges because everybody has a different situation, you know, and so if you want to spend a little bit more on something, a little bit more of a premium feel, you can go for something like Roja Elysium Eau Intense. This is the new flanker, the first flanker of Elysium, that is, unless you're counting the Parfum Cologne being a flanker of the Parfum, which, well, I guess maybe it technically is. It's a flanker of Elysium. Love the frosted glass. Looks amazing. Nice gradient there. Super sharp presentation. I would say the presentation on this is probably more satisfying than the original. Now, this one has rhubarb, grapefruit, juniper berries. Of course, you're getting a lot of that Elysium signature vetiver in here, a little bit of ambergris, a bunch of other citrus and all of that. I think because of the state of flankers these days and you know, just in general things like that, this is the type of thing that people are either going to flock towards and love because they're excited that a new version of Elysium is out, or they're just going to completely write it off immediately and not want to try it at all because they're repulsed that another brand has come out with a flanker, as if that hasn't been going on for years at this point. So no matter where you fall, I think this is one that's worth checking out if you have a little bit more spending money laying around and you want to get something a bit nicer. This is a great option. Following that similar frosted glass, fresh and invigorating trend we have going, we'll just follow up with another one, Terre d'Hermès Eau Givrée. So, Eau Très Fresh did pretty well for itself. A lot of people talked about it, liked it a lot. That one is no longer. It went bye-bye, and this is what we have instead. It's got citron, woods, mineral notes, also some juniper berries in here. And if I didn't say it, woody notes, I think I did. But if I didn't, it's in there. Terre d'Hermès DNA, simply brighter, fresher. That's it. And that's what Eau Très Fresh is or was as well. A fresher version of that DNA, which is kind of an orangey, earthy, spicy mint scent. This has some of the earth notes going on in there. It doesn't really have the orange, more of a citron here, which is kind of more of a sour, lemony, bergamotish type of opening instead. Still, though, following that similar footprint, just easier to wear and, to me, more versatile and more mass-pleasing. If you're someone who just isn't a big Terre d'Hermès fan, maybe you're someone who just, never really got into the line or into this or Eau Très Fresh or whatever, it's definitely worth checking out. I think it's something that adds kind of some variety and some excitement to your collection if you don't really have anything like this. So that's always nice. Next up, we have YSL L'Homme Les Parfums. So my description of this one is YEDP meets the original L'Homme. So you get some of the ginger, apple-y, kind of aromatic, gentlemanly smell from the original L'Homme, and you get some of the apple, amberwood, geranium, kind of blue fragrance-ish deal going on from YEDP. And yes, I'm aware that the original L'Homme doesn't even have apple in it, but since the very beginning and even now, I kind of pick up on an apple accord from that. It's like the mixture of the ginger and some other things going on that kind of gives it a fruitiness. Interesting. It's a digression there, but YEDP for sure has apple, quite a bit of it. That's what is really giving it that prominent sweetness, and so you do pick up on that here. And again, it's a mashup of the two. You get some of the gentlemanly, mature smell, and then also some of the modern, younger, more playful smell. Also mixed into one for the price of one. If you were to go out and buy L'Homme and YEDP, roughly you're looking at $200. You can get this for around $80 on discounters. It's pretty reasonable comparatively speaking to the rest of the YSL designer line in general. And so it's a nice deal. It's easy to hate on, and pretty much immediately when this one was released, it got buried, okay? But it's because on paper it just looks like another one of those scents. But over time, each time I give this one a good wearing, and I really give it some time, I do like it a lot. Really, really enjoyable scent. It smells great. There's no getting around the fact that this is a good smelling scent. If you just want to smell phenomenal and get great compliments and just not have to put in any thought process at all, go for L'Homme Les Parfums. It's really good. Okay, we have Chrome Sport by Azzaro. Azzaro Chrome Sport. That's what it is, right? What does it smell like if you were to compare it to one thing, To me, it's always had a little bit of that Versace Man Eau Fresh musky brightness going on. It's not necessarily one-to-one. It does have some of that, but it also has some of the metallic chrome tendencies that, Azzaro Chrome has, and a few of the other flankers share as well. There's definitely a pretty big correlation between this and the Versace. This one works out to be a little bit more affordable, so probably actually about half the price, I would say. I think this is in the $20 range. The Versace is mid $40 or so. And so there's going to be a price discrepancy. If you're really on a tight budget, this is a great way to go. Ultimately, though, at this price point, it's a cheapie that you can just throw on. You can overspray the heck out of it, and you're not going to offend anybody for one. You're not going to be damaging your wallet for two. And for three, not free, I wish, but three, you're going to be getting some better performance out of it because you can just bathe in the stuff practically. And yes, for a scent like this and this price range with this type of base and DNA, you got to hit it a bit heavier to really get some good performance out of it. So the fact that it's affordable just makes that much easier to do, and it doesn't pain you with every spray like something more expensive would. So yeah, again, another one that's super versatile, easy to wear, not necessarily something to write home about and to get super excited about, but it's simply another scent that just does its job really well, and you can't hate that. This next one here is going back more in the direction of a more gentlemanly, mature, classic, and masculine style. It is Dior Homme Sport 2021, right? 2021. But they released it at the end of 21, kind of in 22, wasn't it? Something like that. That's how it worked out, I believe. Kind of an interesting one. It's got lemon, bergamot, and woody notes in here. Another great one. Some elemi as well. Out of all of the Dior Homme Sports, this is by far the most interesting and the most mature. And also, I would go as far as to say it's the least sporty of the sports. But it still is sporty, at least comparatively speaking to Dior Homme Intense and Dior Homme, and especially Dior Homme Parfum. This is a sport scent through and through when you compare it against those. If you were to compare this against some other general sport scents out there on the market, it would be considerably heavier and less sporty. So it all just depends on the context. And again, compared to the other ones in this line, it kind of gets away from that a bit more. Regardless of that, I still think it is a great release. And going back to how I introduced this one, very mature. You know, it does have more of a gentlemanly, older, kind of classic smell to it with a modern twist, and it's not too extreme. I'm not saying it smells like an old guy or something, because it doesn't, but it really does have a confident, down-to-earth, kind of down-to-business, know what he wants type of smell. You know, this one exudes a lot of confidence. This would be great for anybody who works in a professional or you know, more serious environment. This is what you would want right here. You could wear it every day, any time of the year, for anything casual or very formal. You're not going to have a single issue. Going back over to the $35, maybe $40 range, we have Lacoste L'Homme Timeless here. 3 of them in the line. This one here is, I believe, kind of the newest, and it's been out for a while. It's got rhubarb, tea, and cedarwood. Smells fantastic. So the rhubarb is shared throughout the other 2 as well. The tea is one of the new additions here. It gives it a nice kind of green, aromatic, different twist. It smells great in the springtime, but can be worn year-round because it does have that freshness, and it also does have some woody depth and just a hint, a tiny hint of a little sweet kick. Nothing major. It's mostly fresh and aromatic, but there's just a little bit there. Again, for this price range, something you just shouldn't overlook. It's going to be a little bit more unique compared to other things in this price range. It's a nice way to change it up. Dolce & Gabbana, The One Gold for Men. This is an absolute monstrosity of a fingerprint magnet. Look at that. That's going to trigger people. Oh, you should wipe your bottles off first. No, I don't want to, because these bottles get used. I record with them. I wear them from time to time. And that's the real world. Things get fingerprinted up, you know? That's just kind of what happens. This one here smells great. It's another one that just smells nice. It works. It gets the job done. It's blood orange with just a fresh kind of juicy Dolce & Gabbana The One DNA twist. For what it's worth, this one's actually pretty impressive. It's another one that is so easy to overlook. You're just not hearing people talk about The One Gold. You know, you don't hear that. But it's one of my favorites within the line. Nothing will beat The One EDP or Luminous Night or Royal Night. Those are kind of my top 3 there. Not necessarily in that order, but pretty close. You know, after that, there's The One EDP Intense, there's the EDT, there's Mysterious Night and Sport and Gray and so on. This one probably comes in about, 4th place for me. It's solid. It's better than you would think. Jimmy Choo Man Ice up next. Dior Homme Cologne alternative at, you know, less than half the cost here. I don't know, what is it, $30, maybe $40? You know, DHC is pushing 100, so pretty good savings here with this one. Also, you'll find that this one actually has a bit more going on, some more woods in the base, so it's actually a bit heavier and richer. Dior Homme Cologne is basically all musk and orange blossom and citrus, and that's it. You also might have saw that the atomizer is really good, way better than you would expect for something in this price range. Kind of pressurized there, that's satisfying. It's little things that add up, especially in this price range, you know, that might kind of get you some bargaining points. When you start getting into things that are more expensive, it's kind of expected that they have a nice atomizer. Stuff in this price range, it's not always something you get. And honestly, it's not always something you get in expensive scents either. This might have a better atomizer than Some expensive designers, like even Dolce & Gabbana, not that they're super expensive, but, you know, $50, $60, $70 range depending. The atomizer on this Jimmy Choo is probably better than those. I like it a lot because it smells like Dior Homme cologne, which I like a lot. The problem with DHC is it's expensive and it doesn't perform the best for a lot of people. I don't get terrible performance out of it, but it's definitely one that's going to be hit or miss. This one doesn't necessarily perform the best either, but at this price range, it's much easier to apply heavy and wear more often. Last up for this video, we have Calvin Klein Defi. So since then, they've released an eau de parfum and maybe even one more. I think they have. I just haven't gotten it yet because I'm not super thrilled on buying these at full retail, and so I just haven't done it. But I did buy this one at full retail when it first came out, and to be fair, it's not too bad. It really is not. Nothing exciting, but it's simply another soapy clean men's scent. Soapy, clean, woody, blue a little bit, kind of juicy off the top. It does smell really nice. It just isn't anything overly exciting. Not that that's a bad thing, and probably you wouldn't be expecting that either. Let's be real, if you're expecting something unique and exciting out of a Calvin Klein, you need to manage those expectations, because you'll see people, you know, comment on FRAGRANCEBUY about how boring this is. It's from Calvin Klein. I think, you know, that would be silly to think otherwise. One thing that Calvin Klein and other designer brands in this price range do very well is please the masses. So you can almost be guaranteed that if you wear this one out, people are going to think you smell great. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. Some versatile men's fragrances that you probably aren't wearing, but maybe you should consider it. Try them out. I'll link them down below. A lot of them are blind buy price. A few of them are a little bit more expensive, so just make sure you're knowing what you're getting yourself into. Links will be down below. Like I mentioned, deals and restocks will be going out to my mailing list and texting list. I promise you do not want to miss out what's going on over there. Some great stuff, some great deals, some rare stuff that you might never have the chance to get unless you're on those lists, because things like that sell so quick that if you think, oh, I'll check discounters and get it myself, you probably won't, because when you check, it'll probably be sold out, because I checked first and I sent out an email about it and it sold out after that. So just let me do the work for you and I'll find you all the great deals and everything like that. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.